I know what you're thinking. How do you make a chow mein without stir frying? And more to the point, why would you make a chow mein without stir frying? Well, stick around guys, I'm going to explain everything. So the first thing I'm going to do is prepare our veggies. I'm going to finely chop some garlic, finely chop some ginger, finely slice half a red pepper, chop up some baby sweet corn into bite-sized pieces, chop up a stalk of spring onion, and finely slice half a chilli. I'm going to be adding bean sprouts to my chow mein, and you can readily find these in your local supermarket, if not in your local Asian supermarket. I know not everybody likes bean sprouts, so you can leave them out if you don't want them. Of course, you can't have a chow mein without some sort of noodles. I'm using egg noodles, specifically fresh egg noodles, which you can find in the refrigerated section or the veggie section of most of your supermarkets. And again, definitely in Asian supermarkets. You can of course use dry, like using dry pasta. You boil it up first, drain it, and then use it. So I find this really convenient. I always like to have a pack of these in the fridge because it saves you from doing the boiling and the draining that you have to do with dry noodles. However, of course, if you buy dry noodles, you get a lot more for your money. So depending on where you're coming from, budgeting wise, you've got the choice. For protein, I'm using king prawns today. I do love me a king prawn. Now you can choose whatever protein you like. You can use chicken, you can use beef, pork, or you go for tofu or something more vegetarian, and you can make the whole dish pretty much vegetarian if you like. That is your choice. I have a little confession to make. There is a little bit of stir frying in this recipe. Please don't shout at me, please don't hate me, bear with me. There is a very good reason why I'm doing this. Are you still there? Thank you. The reason why we're not actually stir frying the noodles in this recipe is because stir fry noodles is quite a difficult thing to do. They can stick, they can burn, they can go mushy and break apart in your dish. It can really end up a complete mess if you're new to this, or if you're just having a bit of an off day in front of the wok. It can go a little bit pear-shaped. So what we're going to do is stir fry our veggies, make the sauce, and then put the noodles in at the last minute so they're cooked by the heat of the sauce, and you're going to get a nice sticky saucy noodle with all the other lovely ingredients, and it's going to be great. How many times have I had to scrape out my wok? I've lost count. So this is going to save you all of that. Plus, you're going to use a little less oil, in some cases quite a lot less oil, and that has got to be a good thing, right? So without further ado, let's do this, guys. So we're going to put in 1 to 2 tablespoons of oil. Cooking oil, vegetable oil is fine, corn oil is fine, rapeseed oil is fine, peanut oil is fine. Not olive oil because that'll burn, not sesame oil because that'll burn. They're for flavouring, not for cooking. So the first thing I'm going to do is put our aromatics in, and that is our ginger and garlic. And our chilies. I cut up half a chili for this. I want it to have a little bit of warmth, but these aren't hot chilies. It's not going to be flaming hot. You can adjust it however you want. Get that in. Quickly following, we're going to put our veggies in. Apart from the spring onions, they go in towards the end. So we've got the peppers and the sweet corn. Because obviously being chunkier, they take longer to cook. Get them in, turn the heat up, get the sizzle on. And give it a toss, start to coat everything in. Once we've got a little bit of colour in that, it's still crisp, not wilting too much, we can now add our bean sprouts. Okay, this you can do to taste. I'm putting in a couple of handfuls. My tip with bean sprouts is don't buy massive amounts of it, because a little goes a long way and they go off pretty quick. The amount of times I've discovered some really overripe bean sprouts in my fridge, not so good. Okay, again, they cook really quick. The ones in the packs tend to be ready washed and ready to go. So this does not take long at all. Literally a minute or two in. This is where we're going to start to make our sauce. I've got some hoisin sauce here. So I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons of hoisin sauce in there. Give it a stir. Get that coated. Yeah. We're going to add about a tablespoon of light soy sauce. Pinch of salt. Pinch of pepper. Stir it in. Got some plain water here. About 150 ml. And this is going to make up our sauce. Pre-boiled it so it doesn't take the heat down too much. That's the important bit. Okay. Bring that back up to the boil. You can use stock if you like, but I think when you're using sauces like hoisin, because they're quite strong, I don't think stock makes a huge amount of difference. And I know some people will go, oh, what's he talking about? But I think it's true. It doesn't make that much difference. You can, of course, do that if you want. Not a problem. A teaspoon of sugar. Okay. If you want it more saucy, add more sauce. Okay. At this point, I'm going to put my king prawns in. There's 250 grams of king prawns there. Get the temperature hot again. And once it comes to the boil again, the king prawn should be pretty much done. And then the hoisin sauce and the sugar and the salt and the pepper is just going to combine to make a wonderful, wonderful flavour for the chow mein. To thicken our sauce, got about a tablespoon of corn flour here mixed with some water, or corn flour slurry, or cornstarch as you say in the States. Took me a while to figure that one out. Okay, and we'll give it a stir, and we're going to pour, say, half of it in and see what happens. You can adjust this to the thickness that you want. Just going to grab a little spoon. I'm going to taste the sauce and see what we need. I'm going to add another tablespoon of hoisin into this. I just feel it needs that a little bit. Also, to balance, I'm going to put another half a teaspoon of sugar in there. It's important that you taste your food as you cook it, because of course that makes all the difference. There we go. Wow, that looks pretty good to me. So I'm going to add my egg noodles here. I've got 400 grams. Again, this is all like arbitrary, as in you can choose the quantities that you want. Look at that. That looks nice, doesn't it? Excellent. So all we're doing is putting the noodles in, and the sauce will be boiling them to heat them up. Okay, and we'll get no sticking, and we'll get no burning and no disintegration, because we've slightly got the stir fry bit wrong. So this is an easy chow mein to make. The texture is slightly different, but you know what? I like it equally. I like it equally. Right, so we're nearly done. I'm going to add a tiny splash of dark soy sauce just for a little bit of colour. What's that? About 2 teaspoons. Optional, but it just makes it a little bit darker. I quite like that. And it will also add a little bit more of a, I hesitate to say sweet soy because it isn't sweet, but it is a little bit sweeter compared to the light soy sauce. Okay, and then I'm going to add our spring onions. And they'll just wilt in there, and that's perfect because they'll still be slightly crispy and crunchy. That's done. I'm going to turn off the heat, and to finish off with, I'm just going to put a tiny splash of sesame oil. This is pure sesame oil. Check the bottles when you buy them, because some of this stuff is only 30% sesame oil, which seems a little bit of a con. So check the labels. It makes a difference. The difference in flavour is huge. And there you go. The stir fry, no stir fry, saucy chow mein. Get your taste buds ready. Check it out, guys. Does that look amazing or what? Okay. The moment of truth. You know I want to try this, don't you? All right. Oop. Here we go. That's delicious. That is just so good. I've got to try one of these king prawns too. My God. It's not that you can't tell it hasn't been stir fried. It kind of just doesn't matter. The sauce coats the noodles so nicely. They don't feel like they've just been boiled. I mean, if you boiled them straight in water, just splashed a bit of sauce on it, probably wouldn't be as nice. But because we finished it, absolutely coated it in that sauce, it's really, really flavoursome. And the texture of it is still good, because the noodles, because we didn't overcook them, they haven't gone too soft. They still are firm. Not al dente, but firm. We don't really do al dente in Chinese cooking. Not for noodles anyway. And it is absolutely wonderful. There are no complaints from me. I like chow meins, I like crispy chow meins, I like stir-fried chow meins, I like this kind of chow mein. Which one's the best? I think it depends on what mood you're in. But they're all absolutely delicious. So there is no excuse for now wondering whether you should make a chow mein, because you might burn it and it might stick to your wok. This is the way to do it. It's actually quicker because it takes less cleanup. The wok will just need a quick rinse, wipe down, and you're good to go. I've been scraping out woks for a lot of my adult life, far too many times for me to care to remember. And this is an easier way of doing it, and just as tasty. Right everybody, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you've learned something a little bit different and new today. There's definitely more ways to cook food than just the traditional ways. If you let your imagination have a little play, you can do all sorts. And please, if you have some different ways of approaching traditional recipes or any other recipes, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear about them. I'd love to see them. And if they tickle my fancy, I'll probably have a go and make a video out of them too. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye bye.